pop culture news for KK Mister. Many will ring as wrestling traditional announcers were channel for my Twitter, Instagram, and of course all the other social media platforms like just in case this channel gets shut down, terminated, shadow banned, what have you, God forbid. Anyways, and this came out yesterday, very, very recent. The other one I'll do in a separate video. It's going to be a lot shorter than this one. Might be 9, 10, 12, 15 minutes at the most. This one's probably going to be 5, 6 minutes. This one's a lot more happier news. It was like a week old, but it's about my old school nostalgia vibes. It's a 90s, early 2000s, but even for the older kids, older men, that's now like in their early, mid-late 40s or maybe early 50s barely. If they were 80s kids or early 70s kids, way before I was born. Unfortunately, I got a bad news for us. So I don't know the Blockbuster news coming back as a kiosk, or it's going to be connected to, I don't know, Walmart, Target's going to try to help them, or maybe Amazon, which I doubt it. Since Netflix shut them down like a decade ago, 10 years ago exactly. But fortunately, yeah, this happened. E3, I seen this coming for a while, especially when the pandemic scandemic of 2020, 2021, early 2022, when the COVID, the fake bullshit sickness that wasn't real, pretty much shut down the world for almost 2.5 years for no fucking reason. In my personal opinion, that's my belief. I know it sounds like a tinfoil theory and all that shit, but to me, it's fucking fact. And it was just for power control and corruption, and power that corrupts absolute power, in my personal opinion. That's the reason for the one world order, satanic new world order government to like shut down the whole freaking world on purpose, see how the sheeps were gonna react. Anyways, I'm not trying to get on topic, but yeah. Fortunately, Electronic 3, aka E3, is 100% permanently canceled. It's really not coming back now. So the only two other shows I can see taking over a lot better is either the Game Awards that they do every year December, or Gamescom. That's the only two other ones I usually watch every year. Anything else is kind of cringe to me personally, but playing God of War Ragnarok, I thought this type of music would be the most fitting for it. But yeah, let's begin from Push Square. I'll leave the link down below. You know, credit is due, but I'll do it. Maybe this will Liam Doolin, the one that does all the Nintendo Life articles. So let's quickly jump into the news. So this is ESA today, aka this was yesterday. Let's get into the matter at hand immediately. I'm not talking about no extra side news stories. I'm just jumping headfirst into this thing. Today has announced that members of the E3 2023 is officially canceled. In a shared email with IGN, it is revealed that the event, and I gotta be a little more quiet because everyone's sleeping in the next little room. So there's hopefully you guys can hear me. Probably start the volume, might your Audacity up a little high. It still hurts to see it, but let's move on. I had a feeling it was going to happen eventually, so I shouldn't be surprised. This is kind of an old school dagger into my heart and spiritual level, but let's move on. It's revealed that the event did not, quote, garner the sustained its interest necessary to execute in any way that would showcase the size, strength, or any other impact of the industry. It also goes on to say a statement from Repop reads, this is their official tweet, I read on Twitter yesterday before I decided to do this video. Let's go. It says, quote, this was a difficult decision because, this is the second time I'm reading it. It was a difficult decision because, well, all the effort we put our partners towards making this event happen, we had to do what's right for the industry and what's right for E3. We appreciate the understanding and interest of the companies that wouldn't have played demos and ready at the resourcing challenges that made it at the E3 this summer, made being at E3 this summer an obstacle course that couldn't overcome. For those who didn't commit the E3 2023, we're sorry we can't put on the showcase you deserve and that you've come to accept the Repop's event experiences. Like I said before, I'll say it again, I'm going to talk a little video game industry news, but it's something to do with, it has a lot to do with video game industry news as a whole. At the same time, the ESA and ESRB is the one that controls this, so yeah, it has a very big connection to video game industry news, but it's connected to all four of the big giant, big three, big four, so I thought it was at least going to just be PC or Ubisoft or Steam games going to be shown on there, since Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft are going to be completely absent. At least they could have did that, but I digress, so let's continue forward. The show looks increasingly and unlikely to go ahead over the past week as companies like Ubisoft pulled out of the event with Sega and Tencent confirmed that they wouldn't have a presence. Another IGN reporter published on Tuesday spoke and much uncertainty surrounding the event from organizers and the publishers themselves. This is more like a business / nostalgia sort of like story for me. There's quote, publishers themselves quote, several described that the situation as that everyone was waiting for someone else to be the first to jump, but no one was willing to take the leap, and time was running out. It was claimed this had indeed led to expo cancellations this year. And then it also goes on to say the last little bit of news here. The dude that does the Summer Game Awards and Gamer Awards every winter and summertime now. I think he started out in 2019, 2020. Summer Games Fest. So it says the fucking legend himself. This funny ass dude. Even he was a clown at the time, but it's a hilarious guy. So Geoff Keighly's quote, Summer Games Fest is now all that is left. It's now left as the only major event for both media and enthusiasts to turn forward to the news and extensive gaming coverage. It is set for June with a live event full of reveals and announcements as planned. Original source was IGN, but I'm not going to read from there. So yeah, very long, quick thoughts, views, and opinions. This ain't the first time I see an industry like this pass out really quick. An event like E3's clearly gone. I remember it was a mid-late 2000s teenager, early 2010s, in my early mid-20s at the time, the 2010s, when that was a thing. I remember when those big three that shut down 2010, which was an old, like, dingy place now, which was Radio Shack in 2006 or 7 or 8. One of those 3 years, I think, is when Circuit City died out. Of course, 2013 with Blockbuster dying out, but luckily it's slowly coming back, which that's the good news for my next video, so stay tuned for that if you haven't seen already, unless you're watching this one first or you watch that one first already. You already know my thoughts, views, and opinions work for that, but if you haven't, check it out in the links description box if you want to look at it yourself. My thoughts, views, and opinions on that, more positive vibes on that one. I'll say this, the other two are going to die out real quick. It's going to be a part of my childhood. It's just pretty much dead. I'm a grown mid-30s-year-old man. I've got adults and responsibilities, work, and career stuff I got to focus on more. Sad, harsh way of reality I got to look at, unfortunately. FYE dies out and GameStop dies out, and then the other two big ones I still loved going to as a kid. I doubt if Best Buy is going to die out because they're much more focused on a lot of technological stuff and technology devices. If it does, I'd be very super surprised unless Amazon eats them alive, God forbid. And Apple Store is never dying out. There's no way that shit's happening. Or something else like, I doubt if the Disney stores are going to die out either, because that's usually in like every old school mall. And there's literally half the malls are here as far as my own personal thoughts, views, and opinions and experiences in that. I still living on the same York in the 2000s, or still a big thing, but I think in the mid-late 2010s they started dying out a lot in the East Coast and Midwest area. And here in the West Coast, Southwest, there's still a few that are around. When it comes to the old school areas, like going to the malls and stuff like that, there's still some that are up and running business, but there's a few of them that unfortunately passed on. I guess a lot of these businesses and a lot of these companies, factories, industries that put a lot of like stakeholder money, I guess, into these type of industries. I guess they don't want to do it no more. They want to be cheap and they want to have other means or necessities to do other type of different projects they want to work on. I don't know, stuff like sneakers and shoes and clothes, and that's never dying out. There's no way that they're going to put a hold on that. It's like they did last year when they did that temporary 1 or 2 week opening for Toys R Us, which that was a beautiful, nostalgic, positive vibes from the past, blast from the past when I was playing it. But seeing E3 just go on, the big three they used to show, Microsoft and Sony and almost, and then Nintendo after 2011, 2012, I think they left completely. They really weren't going to be there too much anymore at E3. They saw the writing on the wall way before the other two saw it, and even before Sega did. Oh, and I almost forgot about the two other ones, Tokyo Game Show, and then there's another one like PAX East. PAX East, and PAX, I think, West. And there's PAX North too, the one that's in Seattle, Washington. That's still around, thank God. That hasn't died out, so God forbid they end up pulling the plug on that one. But especially the IRL stuff that's going on in the world, I'm not going to get too much into it because it has stuff to do with WWTHREE. It has stuff to do with the Putin died and all that stuff and all the... It's the, the letter starts with U. I can't say on this YouTube site because I'm very censorship happy about that fucking crap. Maybe that's what it has to do with the year Scary Agenda 2030 with WEF and the United Nations and scary year 2030. I'm not gonna get into that because it's temporal stuff. But all I gotta say for now, I'm out of here. I mean, that's another big reason why they're pulling the plug completely off E3, because maybe they see the writing on the wall that the year 2030 is going to be the end-all, be-all of almost everything. Just a quote, evil quote, as I hate this thing. It makes my fucking blood boil every time I hear it. In the truth to alternative media community, you own nothing, you'll be happy, and you will like it. You'll have a smile, and very scary shit. I don't believe that for a fucking second. That's all I gotta say for now. I'm done here. Rest in peace, E3 for real now. 1993, or I think 1995, when I was like a 90s baby, 90s kid, all the way to now I'm 34, and this shit's completely permanently dead. It's probably never coming back. And that's it. And we're a blessing in disguise. I wish I would have went to one of these things. It would have been a real fun experience. Even if it was just 1 or 2 games I would have got to play early, I would have been a happy camper forever. But sadly, it never got to happen. And I gotta give a shout out to my boy Young A and Dreamcast guy. Those two heard about it from them first. That's it. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys and girls. Always. Tacos and Geekamores all soon as it is every night. We're at Universe out there. Stay tuned for more future content. We have video game industry news once in a while, anime manga news. Definitely Twitter treasure drama news and Elon Musk news. And sometimes some celebrity mainstream media gossip news once in a while as well. Crazy ass freaking drama news and star news. And of course, reaction review segments as well. Take it easy. Peace out. I'm sorry. Lazy. Nice. Take it easy. Long. Stay safe. Talk to you guys soon. Later.